What it do, what it is, yo, it's your boy TEJ reporting live from the right side. Right here, I got my main man, Harpreet Moore. He's happy, because that's what his name is. He's happy. And over here, Sherby Derby 5000, Everett Calderoni, the man I met in 7th grade and I still work with and sit right next to every single day. He normalized this thing that we use, credit. Like, I realize that people have their own individuality in why they want to utilize their credit, right? Mm-hmm. This guy wants $150K to start his business, but grandma just wants to buy a brand new Subaru Outback on a good interest rate.
Mm-hmm. What do you want your credit for?
I want my credit for, like, obviously I like being present, right?
Well, before we get into that, like, what is credit? Like, how do you see credit? Like, when you think of credit, what do you think?
I think of access.
Let's go before
the knowledge I have now.
Before the credit knowledge.
I mean, I think it's just money. It's money people give you, right? It's even before all that, I was just like, oh yeah, like we're gonna ask somebody for money. Somebody's got to give it to you, or the banks give it to you. Mm-hmm. But you never understood the concept of like you need credit for the bank.
So
to give
you just
money.
Understood that somebody would grant you money if you asked for it.
Yeah, like when I asked my dad, hey, how did you buy this $250,000 house? You had $250,000 like ready in cash? He's like, no, the bank gave it to me. So that's all I knew. I was like, oh, the bank gives you money, and then you pay the bank back.
What about you? Like, what was?
Well, as a child, I legit thought there were like credit cards were like gift
That's
cards.
Like 1800.
Not that old yet. But yeah, as a child, I thought that, and eventually the same thing that he said, like, we get it from the bank because you're borrowing people's money. You know what I mean? Like, how about yourself?
I felt like it was always access, or like
even
leverage. Well, because the thing is, like, I was always in finance, like, interested in finance growing up.
Oh,
so, like, I always understood that credit was, in a way, power, right? Because I always understood that if you don't have capital, you don't have that money, you can go ahead and borrow that money, right? Kind of going back to, like, that earlier story that I was talking about, like, going into that jewelry store. Like, I know that I had access to $2,500 now. So it was like, like, in a way, it almost made me feel empowered. Because if I did want to grab something from that store, I have $2,500 to go and get it. That doesn't mean that I have to come up with that money right away. So I always felt it as leverage.
I also looked at it the opposite way. Sometimes in my family, like my parents didn't know the best. Whenever we bought a car, we had to co-sign from the rich uncle. I was like, oh, only rich people. Like you have to have a rich person's approval for get money from the bank. Right? Like a lot of people don't grasp that concept either, I think. Like they just think people are rich or financially well off most of the time because they have good credit.
But I also thought that like good credit was only for well off or rich individuals. Right? Because every time that my parents would be like, oh yeah, like, you know, they have great credit or whatever, but they were also well off.
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh man, so maybe you have to be rich to have
access.
Good credit. But then like you kind of start learning more and you realize that's not really the thing. But because they are well off, that means that they were financially responsible. They had some type of financial education, which allows them to be able to take care of their credit and allows them to leverage out whenever they want to get something.
I mean, now it comes back to that point, like, hey, like, why do you use your credit, right? Like, because we know, like, not only rich people have credit. You could be a normal person or even a impoverished person and utilize your credit for what you think is normal, right? You ask me, what do I need my credit for? This year, I'm getting married. I want to utilize my credit to pay for the vendors, book this, book that. Like, I want to leverage my credit so I could get so many points, so when it's time for the honeymoon, my flight's free.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Hey, the hotel's free, whatever I'm doing. But then next year, the reason I want to use my credit will probably change. Right? Oh, now it's buying a house, or now it's getting a new car, or getting ready for the baby. So, like, I think, especially for partners, like, you want to touch with your client, like, hey, yeah, like, I use my credit too. Like, oh, you want to get this? You want to go towards this route and get funding or get a house? Like, let me normalize it for you how I utilize it in my personal life and give you game of why we do business here.
But not even that, though, because even then I feel like people are going to be very shiny object syndrome. So it's like, well, I want to do what you're doing. I'm sorry, but you can't. And it's not even being mean, but it's like you're not at that financial level to do those things, right? Because my biggest thing is I'll see people, oh, you need a good credit, get $100,000. So then somebody who comes in with a 500 credit score would be like, I need $100,000 for business funding, and then my thing is like, okay, well, have you ever had a good credit? No.
Yeah.
Do you have any bank accounts open? No. Do you have a business? No. Do you have money to pay back debts? No. So what that tells me is that you just fell into this
Trend.
this trap of like
Right.
going down Instagram, going down whatever, and then now you're like, oh, I need that too because this person said I need it. But it's like if you don't have your first $10,000 saved, how do you think that you're gonna react once you have $100,000 in
Poorly.
credit, right? Because you can't even manage your own money. How are you gonna be responsible to handle the
Borrowing
bank's
money,
money?
right.
So that's how I always see it. It's like, yes, you can guide your client the route that they want to take, but there's going to be so many different checkpoints where do you meet this qualification, right? Because if you came up to me right now and said, I need a credit card that's going to give me the most points. Okay, let's sit down. What do you spend the most money on? I
Taco
spend
Bell.
money on TikTok,
Yeah.
on Amazon. All right, well, an American Express Gold card is not the card for you. You're going to need a card that's going to give you 1 to 2 times cash back or points on everyday purchases, right? So, but that person, like you, by example, you might have been on Instagram scrolling. Oh, everybody's flashing this new gold card, the new
Like,
fancy platinum
I want
card.
that one too.
I want that one, but it's like it doesn't fit your lifestyle. So it's about normalizing credit for the consumer so that it actually fits their need and they realize what this credit does to be able to get where you want to get, right? Because like, let's say for example, you guys talking about wedding, right? Even then, like, I mean, a lot of people would say it's bad to get into debt for a wedding, but how was your wedding? Like, how would you rate that on an experience level of 1 through 10?
9, 10, close to it.
Okay, so
But
for you,
and
if
I
you,
used credit for a lot of things, you know what I mean? Like, in order for me to, I was like, okay, like this is kind of like a hurdle, like, oh, I gotta pay for this and that. Let me just put it on credit. I'll deal with it later, and it worked out for me in my sense. And I've heard people who pick up loans to pay for a wedding. I think that's
but
intense.
I mean, it's insane, but that's normal for
But it
them.
makes sense.
Like, that's
Yeah.
what's gonna, but that in that current moment in time, that's what credit makes sense for them. And I feel like too many people want to get it right 100% of the time. Where maybe this year is, like you said earlier, like maybe this year I want to use my credit to fund my wedding.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe this year I wanted to, you know what, really stack up points so then I can travel next year. And then just these little things, or maybe this year I'm going to leverage credit to be able to pay my usage down. I'll move that over to a debt consolidation loan so now my credit score is higher. So I think everybody needs to normalize what that route looks like for the consumer instead of pushing certain things down the consumer start and pretty much picking and choosing for them. Okay, you came in, oh, you want 100,000 for your wedding? All right, we're gonna open up an LLC. We're gonna get you funding this
Yeah.
and that's like, dude. Now you're gonna have to pay annual tax on that business, and you're not even operating. So it's like, I feel like it just leads the consumer down a like a bad path.
Like
You know?
that's not the path you would take your brother on. That's not the path you would tell your best friend. Be like, hey, let's do this, right? I mean, maybe, but at the same time, it's like,
I mean, it's more selfish, right? You're just thinking, oh, I'm trying to get paid off this client, but
Yeah.
that's not how it should be. I've also, on the contrast, I've seen clients coming to me like, I don't want to use credit no more. I had some issues before, and I'm just scared. Like, how do I close these credit cards? You know what I mean? I feel like for them, it's like credit is scary, you know? And I feel like that's another aspect of we need to normalize credit for them because it's like you can utilize it. There's no reason to be scared. Oh no, I know I'm going to use too much or I don't need the credit card anymore. But they don't realize that they could leverage that credit in the future once they start using it and actually use it correctly. You know what I mean?
Because they don't even have to get too crazy with it. You know, it's like they have 3, 5 credit cards. They can set a spending limit on it and be like, hey, you know what? I'm only going to use this for gas, this card for groceries, and then this card every time that I go out with friends or whatever. And they're within their budget. But for the long term, once they do want to achieve that house or that car they want to buy, at least they don't have to like scurry around and be like, oh, I don't know what to do.
I
Like,
don't have credit.
at
you know?
least you've
Yeah.
had credit established.
Exactly.
So I think that's one of the biggest things that's kind of like one missing from the industry, and then also two that we as professionals need to do a better job to educate the consumer and realize what the actual goal for them is and what does that look like, so we can lead them down the right path.
I mean, then there's a little question I'm thinking here. Like, is your sales rep a sales rep or is your sales rep an educator? Right? Because yes, let's get all the clients we can, but don't you want to have clients that could actually succeed? Because what if Harvard accepted every student, right? Not everyone's going to have a great GPA and all this. Like, in a sense, you have to qualify on what aspect or what like scope is this person going to use their credit? Did I ask all the right questions to make sure, hey, I could actually make a plan for you and guide you that direction so it makes sense for you, right? Because if you don't want a loan, there's no point in me saying, hey, let's get you a debt consolidation loan. What if you just want, hey, I got high usage, I want debt relief or something? So, like, how would you say to a partner, like, hey, man, like normalize more with your clients, like talk to them more? Like, would you train your sales rep to do it, or do you put out content for that?
I think yeah, it could be done in content, but then it's also, what does that call look like with your client? You know, like, are you going to be, you have bad credit, I'm gonna sign you up, I'm gonna get it fixed, right? Which I get it. Some people only want that. They don't care about all the extras and then getting the help and then kind of like what we do with our clients. You know, I just want the results. I know how to handle this. Okay, cool. But if you really want to succeed and have longevity, right? Because let's say somebody's charging $300 for a one-time fee, right? That client comes to you, okay, you fix it, then they get on their way and then they leave. What's gonna happen to that client most likely?
They're coming right back.
But the thing is, you didn't build a relationship with that client. You didn't educate them on the way that their credit should be going. So now, the first person that pops into their feed, the first person that they ask their homie, hey, like, who did you fix your credit with? Oh, this guy. Cool, I'm gonna go with him now.
Yeah.
So now your lifetime value of a client is only $300, as opposed to you taking the time, getting to know your client, and then you offer different products and services. You can turn that $300 into $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 lifetime value just from that one client.
And like, just think about it. How often do we say, "Oh, I learned this from this TikTok," right? Hey, I learned this from these people that I hired to help me. They're going to be getting you more referrals. They're going to be spreading your positivity out. Like, these guys actually guided me on how to use my credit. They didn't just do some stuff that I don't know. Like, they set me up on a path for actual success.
Yeah, because then we also have clients that come in, they're like, hey, I've been watching your videos for a long time. I don't really need credit help, but I got 3 people, and then I'm going to, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So just giving the education and content could make 3 or 4 clients, and not the person who watched the video, but 4 people that
for other
knows,
people.
You know?
And then also, too, like, our favorite client.
Andy-Buddy?
No.
Which one?
Mr. Office Visits.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
What do you mean about that?
Like,
how does he relate to this?
Like,
because he fell in love with this idea that he can get business funding. And it got to a point where, like, dude, we got you like 200,000 worth.
You got it all, yeah.
But it's like, why do you want to keep acquiring more debt
Yeah.
if you don't have a plan to pay it back?
Because
I told him, I was like, we're stopping you right now. Like, we're not going to put anything else for you.
Because his idea was, oh, I'm going to get new credit so I can move over my old credit so I don't have to pay interest. Which is reasonable, right? If you do it in a reasonable sense. But then the way his plan was going and his mindset was going, it was like, you're going to go down a dangerous path.
Yeah.
Because he was a client that had great credit, never had a bad credit. He came to us specifically for business funding. Right. We got him the funding, but then also, like, he's a truck driver. Yeah. So that's very seasonal. And then, like, the last 2 years, trucking has just been very horrible. Like, it's been very down market. So I don't know, like, he could be where he listens to all these other guys who are acquiring more debt, but they have means to pay the debt back. He had means to pay the debt back with getting more debt, and it gets to a point where you're just in this downward cycle. So imagine, he's not the only client like that, because there's other people who will just see things off the Instagram and be like, oh, I can just get this card, pay this off, and that'll be good. But guess what? They forgot the missing piece where having the financial education to not spend more.
Yeah.
So they paid things off with new debt, and then, I have more debt available. Let me go mess around and have some whatever, like, mishaps with their credit, and then now you're just in a downward spiral.
Like, I'm really happy the way we stopped him and the way we've, like, told him to go, because at the end of the day, I know I could go to sleep knowing that he didn't just get some lousy loan or this new credit that he can't pay.
Right.
I know that I said, hey, enough is enough. You need to focus on this end of your aspect. Like right now, we're gonna stop.
Right. And then that's another thing, because if you had let him do that, he was going to blame us.
Yeah.
And then not come to us, give us a bad name.
No,
He
yeah,
knows that really well.
exactly.
It's like he
And
blames
then,
me.
you know, we saved that.
Because then, whose fault is it? Whose fault is it, right? Like, oh,
Right.
you guys got me all this. You guys
Exactly.
didn't train me. Like,
Yeah.
I get it. It's
Because,
cultural,
I mean,
but
like, if we're really being like honest about things, yes, in the space that we're in, you can get praise for assisting somebody, but I think there also should be repercussions if you lead somebody down the wrong path.
exactly.
Because what if you're the reason that this person got $100,000 worth of debt and now they can't pay it back?
Yeah. Like, I can't go to sleep knowing that.
Right.
Like, I can't go to sleep looking at my own debt sometimes, but knowing I misled somebody, knowing, you know,
Or
oh, yeah.
you just didn't give him the proper education.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I can make money off him. I don't care.
Because they're, like, our clients are in that specific situation for a reason. Whatever reason that may be, it's our duty to make sure they don't get back into that reason in a sense. Like, it may be a far-fetched thing to say, but, like, why not? What, like, you know, if a patient's coming and your blood pressure's high all the time, you have to be the nurse that teaches, hey, this pill's gonna save your life.
And then, like, what happens if you're not that person?
What if you're not that nurse?
You
Now
know?
somebody's grandpa's blood pressure's too high, and like that's a horrible feeling.
I mean, I think like, people don't really realize it because at first it's just numbers on a screen. Oh, you
Yeah.
got to prove for this amount. But then until it actually becomes real, that's when the consequences start.
Yeah.
Because, like, bro, like, I would not want to be the reason why somebody is $50,000 in debt.
No.
Or $100,000 in debt.
You get, maybe buy a laptop, and that hurt me. You know, I was in $1,800 of debt.
You turned
Not
out
letting
well.
that go.
Let bygones be bygones.
That was in the last episode, brother.
But I mean, so like simple as that though. It's just like not leading people down the wrong path
Yeah.
because it could just be turn out really really bad.
Yeah, because like, yeah, you might make an extra, you know, couple thousand off of them in that moment, but the repercussions on their life, and then, you know, the repercussions on your image and your business's image is not going to be
Well, the
great,
thing
right?
too is like, dude, it's like if you don't even know how to manage your paycheck,
Yeah.
what makes you think you can manage like $100,000 worth of debt?
Yeah,
Or, like
Like
credit,
that is
you know?
insane.
And it's like sometimes you gotta shatter people's dreams.
Oh,
Well, it's not even their dreams. Like it's more
it's
so
not
like
shattering. It's more like, okay, let's bring you back to reality. We could get there, but it's step by step. Right?
because like I could be honest, right? Like I feel like everybody on Instagram used to make it seem so easy to make your first 100,000, make your first million, and then like I started doing it. I'm like, dude, it's been 6 weeks. How come? How's that happen?
yeah. Where's the money?
How am I dude? I was supposed to make 100 grand already. All right, but then they bring me like it just kind of brings it to the point where it's like you have to bring them down.
The reality check is like I think it's definitely necessary to any client you talk to, because they should know what's about to happen, right? Like, like why give a false idea of where they can be when hey, where you want to be? Let me just give you a reality. It's not going to happen in that much time.
So with that, they're like what would you tell partners, right? Like if there's one thing that partners can tell their clients to set the right expectation and point them in the right direction, like what would you tell a partner?
Well, in terms of like actually guiding them and educating them, it's all about, you know, learning what issues they are actually listening to them instead of just trying to make a couple bucks off of them, right? And then building a plan according to them. And if they honestly don't need any help, just guide them the right way. You know what I mean? But I feel like it's basically not being selfish and being able to actually help the client in the long run, because that way you're going to build more business for yourself.
What about you? What would you tell partners?
Honestly, do your due diligence. Like, regardless of where the situation that client is, assess their situation, make the right plan for what they need, and set realistic expectations. Because if you're just throwing numbers out there, ballpark, if you're actually not helping them learn from their mistakes, you're not going to get another client out of them. You're not going to change a family's life. You're just going to ruin an individual's if you don't give them the right information.
Yeah, for me, it would be kind of, but like you guys touched on it, but like diving deep into that client's situation.
Yeah.
Like for us, we do have a physical office. So for me, I do not take it lightly when people come into the office, take time out of their schedule, and then want to sit down with us, right? Like if they sit down with us, then I'm giving them my undivided attention, and then I'm making sure that they walk out of there with an exact plan on what they need to do. So I believe it was back in like November. I had a client come in. He was an older Hispanic gentleman. He was working very hard. He was staying on top of his payments, but obviously it was just getting to the point where it was getting too much. So with him, I think spent like probably like an hour and a half. And then this is what I mean where it's like you don't always have to, or you said it too, it's like you don't always have to make that sell, because even if you don't make that sell, that person alone is going to be so grateful for you where they are going to end up referring so many more other people to you simply because you gave them that sigh of relief.
Yeah.
You made them feel okay, like this is normal. It's not the end of the world for me. So with this client, we pulled up his smart credit, go line by line on the report. His payment history is amazing. No lates, no nothing. He has his mortgage, he has his car, but he's just like, I just feel like I'm drowning. What do I do with this credit? It's kind of, going lower and lower. And then I explain it to him, like, it's not the fact that, you have bad credit. It's just the fact that utilization and then the high interest is kind of kicking your butt right now.
Yeah.
You're making minimum payments, high interest is coming into effect. So you think you're paying that amount, but reality, you're not. So we go in, I show him exactly, hey, look, this account reports by this date, so this is going to update on the report for you. And then also, like, we pulled up his statements, like, hey, this is the cutoff, so you have to make payments by this time. And then we go on Score Boost, I show him, how much more do you have to spend? Or how much more do you have to pay back?
Right.
He's like, I have a couple $500. I'm like, okay, so if you go $500 right here, if you pay it by this date, your score is going to keep going up. And like just by that, like it just gave him so much more relief because he realized that he was going to stop spending more money on interest, right? Because he's not waiting for that full cycle to kick in. He's paying it in that statement. So it's like, okay, so if I need to make this statement balance lower, that's what I'm going to focus on. And then from there, he's like, thank you so much. Like, obviously, we don't charge for our consultations, even if they're in office or anything. So he's just like, how much do I owe you? How much is it? I'm like, oh, like, don't even worry. Like, it's not at all. But like, you can just tell the sigh of relief on his face and like the pressure of the world just kind of like be gone from him because he realized that what he was doing was the right thing. He just needed that reassurance. And then I could have easily been, oh, we got to sign you up for this or that. Like, no, like it's just, let's just guide the consumer where they want to go for their specific goals. And then he did want to buy a house. And then I was like, you know what, like maybe this right now is not the best time. Let's focus on these things and then we can get you there.
Yeah.
And then that maybe later on he becomes a client, but I mean, obviously we don't want that to happen because we want to make sure he stays on time with things. But then after that, he might have some family members that refer over and then you just start growing from there.
Do you, just real quick, right? Like, do you think, because he was in office, he was able to see the report and everything, Score Boost, you're looking through everything with him. Like, how would you have done that on a phone call? Would you have, like, filmed the video and sent that to the guy just so they could see exactly what you're talking about when you're going line by line?
Sending screenshots helps, if you're through text, if you have them on the phone. Even taking time, let's hop on a Zoom call or let's hop on or I'll send you this Loom video. That usually works really great for them. But I think it's also, too, like, people can sense when somebody truly wants to help them.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to make a quick buck off of them.
Yeah.
Because then you can just charge him, like, oh, you have this. Oh, you have way too many inquiries. Let me remove them. Dude, the inquiries are not affecting him right now.
Yeah.
Like, he's not applying for anything.
There's other problems.
Like, just work on lowering the balance. But through that, he's been able to save more money, So I think it's just really great just being able to have the right tools in place to be able to help consumers and then push them forward in the right direction. Because I think we need to at the end of the day, we need to normalize credit. Everybody's usage is going to be different. Not everybody needs to have that fancy credit card, go get a new car, or do this or do that.
I think, that's a great way to wrap it up right there. Like, hey, like, tell your client why they need the credit for the reasons they want it for. Not just because this is what everybody wants.